So welcome to our first lesson on competitive programming. I hope you guys are really excited for this lesson. Competitive programming is what got me into programming in the first place. So I hope you enjoy problem solving as much as I do. So today we're just gonna give a brief overview of what competitive programming is, why you should do competitive programming, and how you can get started on practicing the different problems so that you can get ready for the contest. So first of all, what exactly is competitive programming? So, I mean, if you break it down into two words, it's competitive. So you're like competing against other people, right? And then you've got programming, which is, I know like all of you like. So it's a race to find efficient solutions to programming problems quickly. So it's not just getting like the right solution to a problem, you have to do it like quickly. And the problem gives you input. So this is the stuff that maybe you input into your computer, and then your program will calculate something and spit it out. So it'll like print out the answer. And you're going to be able to do that through algorithms and data structures. So algorithms are like processes that you do on your computer. It's like steps. You tell them how to manipulate the numbers. And data structures is how you store the data so that you can process it. And the main challenge with competitive programming is knowing which algorithms and data structures to use and how to implement them. So I found this pretty cool video that is pretty funny about competitive programming. I just found it today. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. If programming was an anime. So you guys can take a look at that.
Wait. This question is too strong. I'm too weak. I'm running out of ideas. I can't solve this mean problem. How can I even be a real engineer? How am I gonna get into Google? Kusa!
Seems like you need some help.
Senpai!
This question is trivial.
Oh my god, he's so cool. And his jacket is so big.
Solving this in linear time and constant space requires Floyd's tortoise and hare, a simple cycle detection algorithm where one pointer traverses twice as fast as another, and once they meet, you can trace back to the point where the cycle began. In our case, the values of the array is like a pointer, pointing to indices of the array, which is like nodes in our case. Because each number is from 1 to n, then each value will have to point to a valid index, and since there's a duplicate number, there will be a cycle. Find that cycle, and you will have your answer. What are you waiting for? Code it yourself.
Hey.
Senior engineers don't code anymore. Also, my doctor said not to, because of my carpal tunnel.
That works. Senpai, why are you so smart?
Because I'm a gangster.
I hope you guys enjoyed that little video. That's just like a pretty funny video about like competitive programming. So you're gonna be like doing problems that are like similar to what he was doing in the video, which is like, you know, finding duplicate numbers in an array. So that can be example problem. And you see that he had like a lot of challenges when he was doing it. So for instance, like he was trying out like a method and his solution was too inefficient. So then he ran out of time, right? And then like he tried to use a additional data structure to hold like all of his data, and that didn't work out. So there's like a lot of limits on how you should solve problems. So that's an art that you have to perfect. And it also goes back to like the challenge is knowing which algorithms and data structures to use. So for instance, it's just not enough to know like what a hash map is. You need to know like when it's applicable. So that's a challenge that he had to overcome. So why should you learn competitive programming? So you should learn competitive programming because it helps build your problem solving skills, and it's applicable in your computer science and math courses. So for me personally, it helped me a lot in my computer science courses because I can like debug and I can like, solve problems very like effectively. I also like, I think you can win like awesome prizes by doing competitive programming, especially if you can do it at a high level, right? So for instance, you can win like t-shirts if you do the Facebook Hacker Cup and you make the second round. So theoretically, you don't have to go buy any new clothes if you do really well in competitive programming. It's also a great way to learn a new language. So we're mostly going to be teaching in Python and Java, right? So you can perfect those languages because you're going to be using them so often in competitive programming. And it looks really good on your university applications, especially if you're applying to Waterloo. Waterloo has a special section in their application where they're going to ask for your CCC mark. And CCC is a CP contest. So you better do well on those. And you can also get a head start on uni level concepts. A lot of the things that we're going to teach you, especially in the later lessons, they're not going to be taught in high school level. These are extra things that you have to learn in order to do well on these contests. So once you go into university, hopefully the CP knowledge would carry over and then you don't like have to struggle so much during first year. It also prepares you for job interviews in CS fields. So that's some way that you can study ahead of time. So the main competition that we're studying for is the Canadian Computing Contest. So it takes place on February 17th, 2021. I know it's next year, but it's really close. So it's hosted by the University of Waterloo's Math and CS department. And you have to solve 5 programming questions within 3 hours. So that might seem like, I don't know, like what's your perception of that, but 3 hours isn't a lot of time to solve 5 programming questions. So you have to do a lot of practice. And there's 2 levels. So there's the junior level, which are for students who are newer to programming. So it covers topics such as, oh, do you know how to like manipulate a string? Can you do some basic maths? Do you know if statements? Do you know loops? And for the last question, usually it's the harder question where you have to know a little bit of recursion. So we're going to be teaching you that. And in senior level, it's for people who are more experienced with programming. So it's going to be covering topics like graph theory, dynamic programming, and data structures. If you don't know what that is right now, like don't panic because you can always study it on your own and you can also follow us when we're teaching our lessons. And the senior contest is different from the junior level contest because it's the qualifier for the Canadian Computing Olympiad. And what that is, it's like the next level of competition. It's hosted by the University of Waterloo. I think you have like a week, like a 1 week camp, and then you do like more contests, and they select the international qualifiers from the CCO. So you win medals and stuff. It's really cool. It's like the computer science equivalent of the CMO, if you're interested in math. There's also other programming contests that you can get into. So if you have like other friends who are interested in competitive programming, you can do the eco contest. So that's open to all Ontario students and you compete in teams of 4. So you don't have to be that lonely. You can study with your friends because you're all going to be working on the same team. And this usually takes place between March and April. And we're going to be posting the slides soon so that you can access those links. And the US ACO is the US version of the Canadian Computing Competition. So it's an American programming contest. And there's 4 levels. So you start off at bronze and you can work your way up to platinum. And the good thing about the US ACO is that it has 4 contest dates. So that you have 4 chances every year to move up the ranks and get really good. Yeah. And its mascot is the cow. So all of the problems are like cow related. And ta-da, this is the Gmatch platform. This is where we're going to be practicing our problems, making sure we're getting ready for our contest. And it features problems from the past contests, especially CCC problems. You can earn points for solving problems. You can compete against your friends. So you can check out that site and Jake will be talking more about how you can sign up for DMOJ.
Okay, so before I start, I see a question in chat. Are we going to do problems this session? And the answer is yes. We're going to be doing, don't mind that. We're going to be doing a Dmod question. Very simple one. Okay, so first to do a question on Dmod, you must first make an account. This is self-explanatory. You put on your username, your Gmail, email thing. You make a password, time zone, Toronto. Default language, you can make it whatever you want, but we're going to be using Python, and you can just leave that blank, say you're not a robot, and register. Now let's solve a problem. In the top left, when you get to the website, you'll see problems. In the top left, you can click on that. And then in the search bar, we're going to be doing the problem a plus b. So search that, and it'll be the first result. It's only 3 points. Don't try the harder ones. They're a bit more complicated. And here is the layout of your questions. Username and email can be anything, right? Yes. A plus B, here's the context for each problem. There will be like a blob of text usually. Input specification, it'll tell you what is entered as the input into the program. And then the output specification is what your program needs to print or output, right? On the right here, there's a list of languages that are allowed for this problem. And then next, here we'll be using Replit. Most like this is the most this is the easiest tool to get started with because you just need to make an account and then you can code it here and then access it on any other device you want. So basically, this is just writing your program. You paste the sample input from here into the program. You press enter, and then you'll get your whatever your program prints. If it's the same, then success. Yay, you did it. Good job. To submit your solution, you go to the top right here. There's a giant blue submit button. You copy or paste your code into here, and then you make sure you select the right language. Like this will usually be your default language, but you can just change it to Python 3 if you need to. And then when you're done, go to the bottom right, there's a submit button. And you'll get AC if you did all of them correctly. And that's cool. But what if I didn't get AC? That means you're wrong. That means your code is not doing what it's supposed to do. If you get WA, you printed the wrong answer. Check your code again. If you get TLE, the time limit has exceeded, which usually means you're in an infinite loop or your program is extremely inefficient. Memory limit exceeded, usually due to large arrays. I'm not sure of much other causes, but they'll pop up sometimes. Invalid return, IR. You can check your program for errors like dividing by 0. Yeah. What is the A plus B problem in the problem section? Like there are hundreds of them. There's only 3 if you search up A plus B. The category should be all, the point range should be, yeah. Thanks, Jerry. Now you're free to explore. So there's a lot of problems on Dmod. You can oh, you have to search. Sorry, no, it's okay. There's a lot of problems on Dmod. You can do any that you want, but I have to warn you that many are very hard. So you should use the problem filters, which are to filter out like the extremely hard problems that pros are doing. For beginners, you should use this filter. The category CCC, problem types here should be implementation, and you should set your point range to 3 to 5, though you really only need to set it from 1 to 5, but it doesn't really matter. via CCC, the lowest points from J1 are 3. And if you want to learn more, we have like these 3 links that have like more problems for you to do if you need. And that's the end of the presentation. Yeah, implementation means that the problem only requires basic knowledge and you don't need advanced algorithms to solve it. Thanks, Jerry. What a nerd. No. Will the slides be posted on the classroom? We should be posting them somewhere. Isn't she? Let me check on see if everything's okay. If you need any help, don't be scared to ask. We are not going to screech at you for asking questions. Only Jake will screech at you for asking, hey, wait a minute. That's not right.
Oh yeah, and once you make your Dimash account, you can also join the Pierre Elliott Trudeau organization on Dimash. Jake, you want to show them how to do that?
Someone says she can't log in. You can try going to the help room and like ask them to like guide you through it. Did we set that up? Wait, I heard something. I didn't hear what you said, Ryan. I was reading chat.
Wait, what was the question?
A plus B. Oh, no, their question was they couldn't log in. Not a question, really a problem, but
They can't log into Dmod, or
I'm pretty sure they can't log into Dmod. There's not anything else that they would be trying to log into right now.
okay, if they can't log in, we can just troubleshoot it here.
They might be gone already.
Oh, never mind then.
Oh, nope, they're still here.
Okay. Because I think if you can't log into Dmod, it might be one of 2 things. Like either you didn't fill in your information correctly, or something went wrong. You just had to refresh because the servers are dying.
Oh, I can show you guys how to join the Pierre Elliott Trudeau organization on Dimash. So I'll just like quickly screen share. So like if you click once you're into Dimash, if you click the top right corner, so you see it says hello and then your username, right? If you click it, then you'll get put into like this profile page and you're like, oh, I have Pierre Elliott Trudeau High School on top. How do I do that, right? How do I join the Pierre Elliott Trudeau organization? And we want you to join the organization because we're gonna have contests. We're gonna have contests in the future. And like, if you're not in the organization, you might not be able to see those contests. So it's really important that you guys join it. So the way you do that is you go to the top, you press users. And you see over here to the top right, there's organizations. So you click organizations tab and you scroll all the way down, or you can use Control F or something. So you can scroll all the way down, look for Pierre Elliott Trudeau High School. Great. So if you click on Pierre Elliott Trudeau High School, then you're gonna see this. Whoa. Well, now we have a different logo, but like this is the organization. And here it says leave organization, but for you, it should say join organization. If you're not in Pure LA Trudeau like organization yet. And you can join it, and then you can view all the members. So whoa, who are all these people? They're really good competitive programming people, right? So you can like your name would show up on this leaderboard, and that's how you know if you've successfully joined like Pure LA Trudeau on Dimash.
As you can see, Ryan is one of the top users at our school. 13th place.
Yeah, Jerry's number 4.
What? Obviously not
So,
me, as you can see. That totally isn't me because
yeah, and just to show you some other features, once you've joined the Pure LA Trudeau organization, you can go around, try like different kinds of problems, right? So how do you read this? Wait, I need to charge my computer first. It's gonna die soon. So how do you read this, right? Like, what does this all mean? So the problem here is like the title of the problem. So you can just scan for problems that you like. Like, hey, I like the game 2048. Maybe I want to simulate it. This problem looks cool. And I click it, right? It's like, whoa, I'm actually doing something related to the game, right? So you can find problems you're interested in by looking at the problem title. The category means that which contest it's from. So you want to prioritize doing problems from CCC because you want to prepare for that competition. It's the most important one. Types means the type of solution that is required. So you see that there's like simple math, there's like data structures, like what are these weird things, right? So just focus on implementation problems. So if you see types, just do implementation problems. And later on, we'll touch some of these more complicated topics. Points is kind of indicates the difficulty. So if the point is higher, it means that the problem is more difficult, and you're probably going to need like extra knowledge to solve it, right? So right now, if you know if statements, if you know loops, if you know arrays, then you can probably solve 3 to 5 points problems. AC rate means like the amount of submissions that are correct. So if you see that like there's a higher AC rate, it means that it's probably an easier problem or it's not as tricky. And the number of users is basically the amount of people who submitted to the problem before or like got it, like solved the problem. So yeah, so this is how you can read this. And if you want to filter problems, you can easily do that. So for example, I only want to see CCC problems. So I go here, I'll choose CCC. Whoa, okay, these are all the CCC problems. And then you can filter by problem type. So I only want to see implementation problems because I don't know anything except if statements and loops and all of that. And then you can filter by points. So like I want like a lower difficulty, so 3 to 5, and then you press go, and then it filters all the problems for you. So these are all the problems that you should be able to do if like you're able to do like if statements and loops and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's how you can use Dmod. And then what you do is, as Jake said, you can just click on a problem. You see, oh, there's input, right? I need to transform this into that. So I need to write a program somehow to transform this into that, right? But then like the website would test you on a lot of different test cases. So it's not 330, it can change, right? But then you still have to output the right thing. So yeah, and then you press submit solution, choose your right language, and then you press submit and see what happens. Yeah. And once you're done the problem, it should have like a green check mark. So I did all of these problems before. So it has a green check mark. If I didn't solve the problem, it would have like a red cross like this, right? So yeah, so that's basically all you need to know about how to solve problems in Dimash. Yeah, and I hope a source of like motivation for you is that the more problems you do, the more points you get. You're gonna see that the amount of points you get isn't always proportional to the amount of like points that like you actually get from solving problems. But like, yeah, this could be something to motivate you by accumulating points and seeing that the number of problems that you've solved on the site before. So yeah, so that's the ins and outs of Dmod. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, D is on top of every question. Oh yeah, Jerry.
I'll just share screen then. Just
Yeah.
need to do a few more things. So just a few more things about the Dmod platform. How do you navigate through all these things, right? Like first of all, let's just run through a problem if you're okay with it, Ryan. We can just run through like Hello World, and we'll just show you what Ryan said is applicable to an actual problem. Okay, so just do it. So first of all, like Ryan said, to search for a problem, you search for any problem. So hello world, and you press enter. Oh wait, no, never mind. You have to do hello, because wait, am I trolling? I think I'm trolling.
I solve problems.
Oh, right. I had that filter on.
Jerry's really smart. He solved this problem before.
Okay, so you go to hello world, and then okay, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. Okay, let me just refresh. I'm very smart. Wait, is this just not coming up, or am I just?
Oh, point range.
Oh, the point. Why
You're
do I
only
have
solving 40 point.
why do I have everything set weirdly?
Whoa.
Okay.
Everything is set so weird. Anyhow, so you click on a problem, for example, hello world, and then this is basically from like Ryan said. There's input. This is actually this problem is different because it actually tells you how to do it. This would be a great beginner problem because when you run through it, it tells you exactly how the site works, and the admins made sure that like when you do this problem, you understand exactly how Dmosh works. So how it works is that you have your problem statement up here, like Ryan said, and then you would have input. Let's take another problem because this problem actually doesn't have input. So let's take A plus B, which actually has input. Right, so first of all, you have input specification, which is your input. So for example, in this one, it will tell you what you need to do and what you're given. So for example, you're given n numbers, and then each time you have to add 2 numbers, right? And then you have your output specification, which is what you have to print out, right? So it's kind of like a function. You're given an input, and then you run it through a certain test case. What that means is that they give you a random set of numbers as an input, and then you're going to return another set of numbers as an output. Right? And also, this is really important that the judge matches the output exactly, which means that for example, in programming class, if you printed an extra space or an extra, comma or whatever, that might not detriment too much to the entire program, and your teacher might let you go on that. But on Dmod, there's no such thing. If you even mess up one space or one single character, Dmod will say you're wrong, because it's judged not by a human but by a computer. So it has really strict specifications on what you can do. Like if you did 2 space or like 2 dash, it would be wrong because it needs to see exactly 2, and it's marked by a computer, which is really strict. Anyhow, what you can do is that there's a few things you can do. You can see your submission. So for example, here are all the submissions I made to the problem. And here you can see the status code. So like we said, AC means you solved it, and then WA means you didn't solve it, and then IR means there was an error. So you can see all your status codes, and you can also see how many times you've solved it, right? And then also you can see all submissions. Now here you can actually see every other person who submitted to this problem. And one thing you can do is that there are a lot of people that actually solved this problem, but you can only see these once you solved it. So let's say you've solved a problem. How would you see that? Well, first of all, you filter by accepted, because you only want people who got it right and not people who got it wrong. You can also filter by language. Another way you can actually go is here's a shortcut, just go to best. Best submissions means that it takes every single person's best submission and displays it. So you can actually go in and look at like the best submission. So this is D, he has a best submission. D is actually used to be from our school. So if you view it, you can see you can actually view source. View source means it shows you the code, and this is really confusing. Don't worry about this. You don't need to do it like that. But you can basically see how other people have solved it once you've solved it. Yeah, that's another thing. If you once you solve the problem, you can go to best submissions. Let me just run you through how you would probably solve this. You would attempt this question. So first of all, when you solve it, you have a language. Let's go to Python instead. Right, let's choose Python 3. And then first of all, you would get one number. So you get n. get in input, right? You get a number n. Always keep 2 tabs, one of the problem statement and one of the summit screen, so you see exactly what's going on. And then what you would do is that you would go to okay, so then every time you'd input, so for I in range n, you would every time you'd get input 2 numbers, a b equals 2. Okay, you know what? I'm too lazy to do this. I'm not gonna split these numbers. I'm way too lazy to split. My brain is not working. Anyhow, that's basically how you would solve. Okay, let me just show you a submission in Python because I'm way too lazy to actually type it out. This is how you would submit to a problem in Python. I did it the reason this problem is annoying because you actually have to take in 2 different numbers, so you have to write a lambda. There's another way to do it. You can split it by strings, but the way I did it was way too confusing. Anyhow, that's how you solve a Dmod problem. And then there are also these things up here. So you can view other users, you can view contests. These are where you can test your skills. And then finally, there's the about section, which you can learn about DMOJ and impress the admins with your very cool knowledge. That's it.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions about using the Dimash platform for practice? If there is no questions, I guess that's the end of our first lesson. You guys can stick around. We'll probably play around with Dmod. Probably you can see us solve a couple more problems. But yeah, that's the end of our lesson. You can feel free to leave this breakout room. Bye.